Patton Oswalt, welcome to the Daily Social Distancing Show.
Tre- Trevor Noah, thank you for having me on from afar.
Before we get into the docuseries and really one of the most amazing stories ever told, how are you? How are you doing? Because you're a parent. Are you homeschooling? Are you living? What is happening right now?
We are trying to do a combination of homeschooling and living. I think what you find out very, very quickly as a parent, no matter what you do, education is not fun. When kids hit a certain age, they want a summer. They deserve just kind of daydreaming, non-structured time. And when you're
Right.
to do that sneaky, let's make math fun by playing poker. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to ruin poker for this. Like, I want them to have a summer. I don't want to, somehow tie swimming in with American history.
This docuseries, it's truly one of the most interesting shows I have ever watched, based on one of the most interesting books that we have ever read, and honestly, one of the most despicable stories that I think, humans can ever consume, created. And I mean, people have credited your late wife with this work. Tell me about the docuseries. Like what are you trying to do that's different to the book, and what story are you trying to tell?
Well, especially what Liz Garbus, the director, who's an incredible documentarian, in this 6-part documentary, what she's doing is taking a lot of the stories of especially the victims and the detectives and expanding them. I mean, Michelle delved pretty deeply into those in the book, but what Liz is trying to show is the aftermath, the resilience, and especially the bounce back of a lot of these victims and survivors of this killer and of this insect, basically. And it really feels amazing. There's a point where they talk about how they've gone to every one of his arraignments and they just stare at him and he cannot meet their gaze. He can't lift his head and look at them. And it's just seeing this guy reduced in a way he never wanted to be seen. It feels like justice. And from everything I've heard from the different law enforcement officials that I'm talking to, he's absolutely faking the need for the wheelchair, the being frail. He's trying to garner sympathy, and people are just like staring right at him with zero empathy, and it's shrinking him even further. And anytime victims or survivors can be afforded that opportunity, I think it's very important.
You know what's really tough in society is watching stories like this, but then not being terrified by these stories as if they are the norm, because they are exceptionally horrifying, but they are still exceptional in that it's not everybody. So when this show is being put together, is it a story that's being told like it could happen to you, or did you guys make a conscious effort to tell a story that is like, man, it's crazy that this can happen, but luckily it's not happening to everybody?
A couple of things that we emphasized were, no, this is not happening to everyone. Serial killers are a very rare, very twisted, sad group of people. But what we also, especially this is what Michelle kind of focused on in her book, and Liz really, I thought, brought into even bigger focus, is there was a certain way that women, and especially women who had been raped and assaulted, were treated and thought of in the 70s that we've done a lot of progression on. We still have a long way to go, but when you see how a lot of them were treated, they kind of subconsciously had it in them that they were partially at fault for this. And so there's something very, it's very frightening to think that in those so-called liberated progressive times, things were so medieval in a lot of ways. And it's good to see the progress we've made away from it.
Your late wife was credited with putting so many of the pieces together, really guiding law enforcement and the public at large to focus on the facts that help get this killer caught. You wrote, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful love letters that I've ever heard or seen from a human to another human being. Surely, on a personal level, delving into this work, like it must make you proud. It must bring you joy and sadness at the same time. What has this journey been like for you?
I mean, it's a combination of, the sadness will never totally be gone, but it does feel really good to know that amongst all that tragedy, Michelle left behind, dozens of portraits of strength and resilience and adaptation, men and women, that hopefully other, potential crime solvers and I hope there's not a lot of them, but other victims and survivors can look at as a lifeline or as a piece of wreckage to cling on to in the storm.
Yeah, it truly is one of the most amazing pieces of work I've had the chance to see, and I hope everybody watches it. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to the team for putting it together. And of course, thank you to your late wife for making this what it is. Hopefully the next time I see you, we'll be back on stage performing for human beings in person.
Oh my God, please,
Right?
something. It's just, listen, I don't want to blow too much smoke up your ass, but after we watch the news every night, then we DVR you, and my wife is like, okay, let's a little dessert, like a little relief. So just thank you. I don't know how you and your writers face all this madness every day and go, let's put on a show, but you do. Thank you, so thank you.
Thank you very much. And I know you don't like it, but I think there's a great business opportunity in swimming American history. You should patent that, and we can make a lot of money. Trust me on this one.
Let's talk about that off the air.
We'll talk about it off the air. Patton Oswalt, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you.